All right, here I am with part two. If you've noticed that I'm not the only thing here in the video, well, I guess that we can officially call this my first official uh, cameo. Meet Nana here, my cat. Yes. All right, and let's get on with part two. So, the character of Vincent, like I said, this version seems to have much more in common with Bruce Banner. That instead of being a beast man, he just sort of hulks out. I have some issues with that, and those are not necessarily issues having to do with the fact that the CW did not have the guts to make Jay Ryan an actual beast man because they wanted the girls to go gaga over him. My issues have to do with this just making plot holes and plot contrivances in the actual story. First and foremost, like I said, Vincent in the original series was born a beastman, and he had to spend his entire life underground. He couldn't exactly, go out because people, especially in a big city like New York, he'd be pretty much noticed, and it wasn't like there was any real part of the world where he could really go to. This version of Vincent is not a constant beast man. He only transforms into a beast man when he either gets angry or I guess when his adrenaline gets pumped up. And so that begs the question: why is he still in New York City? Matter of fact, not even still in New York City. It's revealed that to a flashback that when they attempt to kill him, I believe he's actually still in Afghanistan because in this version Vincent was a soldier. Well, he was a doctor turned soldier. He started out as a doctor, but after his brothers were killed in the World Trade Center, he moved on and he enlisted in the service, and he's still shown to be in Afghanistan when they attempt to kill him. So, of all the places he could go, why is he coming to New York City? When you have the U.S. military after you, the last place I imagine you would want to be would be in the U.S. You would want to be in a place that's so far off, off the grid, that the army just wouldn't think of searching for you there. And Vincent doesn't do that. Vincent goes right into the belly of the beast, which is interesting because, as I said, once again, Vincent has a lot in common with Bruce Banner from the Incredible Hulk. And when we first meet the Hulk in the Incredible Hulk movie, he's in South America. He's in Brazil. The army tracks him down there, but that's because he was working in a soda factory and he accidentally cut himself, and then some of his blood was dropped into the soda, and someone drank it. Someone, of course, played by Stan Lee, as the Blockbuster Buster would say, Stan Lee cameo. Yes. Uh, but yeah, that's eventually how the army eventually tracked him down. And he had no choice but to eventually front off. Yeah, but basically the point I'm making was that Bruce Banner was smart enough in both, the Incredible Hulk and the Avengers to be pretty far removed from pretty much anything resembling U.S. armed forces. So why Vincent has not done the same thing is beyond me. The best explanation that the series has given was that he's working with a friend of his that they were for years working on a antidote. But I mean that's the thing. Once again, in the Incredible Hulk movie, Bruce Banner, um, through a laptop and through mailing services, of course, encoded mailing services, post office boxes. He was also working on a cure, and he was all the way in Brazil. And the person that he was contacting, Mr. White, who I can't remember the scientist's name. I do remember that it's implied that Mr. White would go on to become the Hulk's other arch nemesis, the leader. But yeah, he was in New York, Banner was in Brazil, and once again, they were communicating and they were working on an antidote. And, there's no reason that Vincent couldn't have done the exact same thing. And then it's even said, the show actually says that Vincent actually stopped working on the antidote and eventually has been sneaking around New York City, saving people, basically being a superhero. Which, once again, why are you doing this in New York City? Why have you're just a guy with a scar on your face. There's no reason that, that you shouldn't be able to find a way, to escape into Canada and then from Canada, get some sort of transport to just another part of the world. You're just a guy with a scar on his face. You're not going to raise too many uh, eyebrows, whereas a lion man would raise lots and lots and lots of eyebrows, unless he's going to be traveling with a circus. But yeah, I just see no logical reason for Vincent to still be, for Vincent to be living in New York City when, the military has their sights set on him. Well, okay, I I don't think it's the whole military, but it's a branch of the military that I'm pretty sure has the military and military resources at their disposal. Just like General Ross does in the Incredible Hulk. So the two are just very, very similar. And what else? Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't know. I mean, aside from that, I really don't think that there's much else to talk about. I mean, the series is your basic drama, cop series. I mean, from what I'm hearing, the show will basically be set up around weekly cases. Some crimes committed. Catherine investigates, and Vincent, using his Beast slash Hulk powers, helps out. I have heard that over time. Okay, I cannot confirm this because I only heard this from one poster on the IMDb boards. So I can't confirm that this is actually the case. I've not seen this in any article or interview that I've read. And the person on IMDb never put an actual source. But I have heard that as time goes on, Vincent will become more and more beast-like to the point where, like the Vincent from the original series, he'll be a full-on beast man, and he won't will no longer be transforming. I certainly wouldn't mind that. It would definitely be more in line with the original series, and it would certainly provide a much more tragic element, to Vincent, going from a man to something completely not human instead of something partially not human. And also, I think that Vincent's new backstory actually does send not sends a message, but it does deal with the real life. It's much more grounded in real life issues that we actually are dealing with. That issue, of course, being science to play God. We're constantly using science to try to advance ourselves, and if we're not careful, it can have some severe consequences. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, fantastic film. um, was a film that dealt with that exact same issue, and this show, through of course Vincent's backstory, is also dealing with that issue and the possible fallout that can come from that. Yeah. So, like I said, I, I I like Vincent's backstory, but I personally wish that they had made this depiction of Vincent a full-on paceman, because it would just work so much better if he was a full-on beastman, as to why he's t- hiding out in a warehouse in New York, and of course living with his best friend in complete isolation. I mean, like I said, unless he's angry, he's he's not going to change. He looks just like a normal person, and considering that he's, as his friend pointed out, he's no longer working on the antidote. I don't understand why he's chosen to stay in New York City. Oh yes, I have some more things I do want to say about the series, but wow, I think this review is actually going to go into part three. But yes, they just popped in my head. So let me stop this one here, and stay tuned for part three coming in just a moment.